That smile. I've been photographing people for 12 years. I've never seen one like that. He said it to no one, to his camera, to the festival crowd moving around him, to the October afternoon that had been generous with its light. He looked at the photograph on the screen, then at the woman across the plaza, who was no longer looking at him because she had already turned back to whatever had produced it. Whatever had produced it was a 4-year-old girl in a yellow dress, spinning in the middle of the festival square, with her arms out and her face turned to the sky, in the complete, abandoned joy of a child who has found the perfect axis and intends to use it until told to stop. The woman watching her had been standing at the edge of the crowd, still, composed, the kind of still that belongs to people who are managing something. And then the child had spun, and the woman's face had done something that had nothing to do with management. It had simply opened. A smile that came from somewhere deep, and was not performing anything at all. He had taken the photograph before he decided to. His name was Beckett Marin, 38 years old. He shot street photography on weekends and commercial work the rest of the week, a practice he had maintained for 12 years with the consistency of someone who understands that seeing is a skill that requires daily exercise. He put his camera away and went to find good coffee. He thought about the photograph for the rest of the afternoon. Her name was Sloane Vare, 30 years old. She was the CEO of Vare Consumer Goods, a company she had been running for 3 years, first alongside her husband, then alone, after Marcus had died 14 months ago from a cardiac event that had arrived without any of the warnings that would have made it possible to prepare. She had brought her daughter Rue to the Milford Autumn Festival because Rue had asked, and because saying yes to Rue's requests had become, in the 14 months since Marcus, the organizing principle of her better decisions. She had not expected to feel anything particular at the festival. She had been in the management mode that grief eventually produces. Functional, present, the version of herself that could hold Rue's hand and watch the performers and eat the festival food and be, for Rue, the parent she needed. Then Rue had found the open space in the festival square and begun to spin with the specific joy of a child. He has discovered that the world cooperates when you commit to the rotation. And Sloane had watched and felt something open in her that had been carefully closed for 14 months. It had not been planned. It had not been performed. It had just happened, the way the real things happen, without asking permission. She had not noticed the man with the camera. He printed the photograph on Monday. He printed it large, 20 by 24, the size that the image required, and pinned it to the studio wall and stood in front of it for a long time. The smile was everything he had thought it was from across the plaza. It was not a happy smile in the simple sense. It was the smile of someone who has been holding something very carefully for a long time, and has for one unguarded moment been reminded that the holding is not all there is. He had been photographing faces for 12 years. He knew what he was looking at. He entered the photograph in the Milford Arts Foundation annual juried show, the one he submitted to every year, the one he had been close on 3 times, with the title, Return. He did not know the woman's name. He had not spoken to her. The photograph was entirely of her face, from a public festival, and he had submitted it with the foundation's standard consent process, which for public space photography was a waiver he had always been careful about. He went back to his week and forgot the submission in the way you forget things you have let go. He was there for the opening, as he always was, and the photograph was hung in the East Gallery, near the window, where the afternoon light came through and landed on it in a way he had not planned, but that was exactly right. A woman stopped in front of it at 6:15 in the evening. He was across the room. He saw her stop. He saw the way she stopped, not the casual pause of someone looking at a piece of art, but the specific stop of someone who has encountered something that is also about them. He crossed the room. She was looking at the photograph with an expression that was layered. Recognition, something else, something he couldn't read. "That's you," he said. Not a question. She turned. Yes, she said. She looked at him. You took this. October festival, he said. I'm sorry if I should have asked. You didn't know me, she said. It's a public space. She looked back at the photograph. What's it called? Return, he said. She was quiet for a long moment. My daughter was spinning, she said softly. She found a patch of open ground, and she just went. I hadn't seen her do that since her father passed. She paused. I think I forgot what her full joy looked like. And then she showed me. He looked at the photograph, at the smile that had stopped him across a festival plaza. I didn't know any of that when I took it, he said. I know, she said. That's what makes it true. She looked at the title, Return. She said it quietly, like something she had been looking for the word for. That's exactly what it was. They stood in front of the photograph for a while. The gallery moved around them. Does she spin often? He said. She's been spinning every day since the festival, she said. She says she's practicing. I've been watching every time. He looked at her. Still smiling? She thought about it honestly. Getting there, she said. He had a card in his pocket. He always carried cards. He took one out. I photograph people, he said. Specifically people in their real moments. I've been trying to do a project. Families. The specific joy that children have that adults sometimes forget they're allowed to. He paused. I'd like to photograph your daughter spinning, if that would be all right. She looked at the card, then at the photograph, at her own face, which had shown something true on a Tuesday afternoon in October, without her permission, and which had been rendered by a stranger with such care that the truth in it was visible to anyone who looked. She'd love it, Sloane said. She has opinions about being photographed. Good ones, I hope, he said. Mostly about the importance of the yellow dress, she said. He smiled. I'll note that. She took the card. She looked at the photograph one more time. Return, she said again. Yes, that's what it was. Be present enough to see the smile across the plaza. Take the photograph before you decide. The image that captures a true moment is a gift to the person inside it, and the person inside it may not know yet what they're being given back. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.